Yael, with your views on the same question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you all for having me here. I'd say that for me, a lot of what work tech means is kind of essentially expanding beyond the typical definition of work. So we've already touched on some of the big macro trends that have shifted to distributed teams, that have shifted towards the gig economy. I'm really glad that Ilanka brought up reskilling and upskilling. But I think the entire nature of work and the historical way that we've talked about it is changing. And it extends from now education, and a lot of the ways that we talk about education is interesting because I'm as guilty of it. It's in my bio, but we talk about our degrees that we got, however many decades ago, as if that's like the most pertinent part of the education. But really, the decades of work experience are even more relevant, right? And in a world where the shelf life of skills is decreasing, what you learn on the job, what you learn to upskill yourself and reskill yourself more regularly is only more important. And so that's part of what my business focuses on. So a lot of where I spend my time is thinking about the fact that half the workforce is going to have to get upskilled or reskilled in the next few years. And every year for the last several years, a BCG, McKinsey, Deloitte report has come out with every year the number going up and to the right. Now it's 80% of CEOs are worried about the availability of skills. Well, in a world where you're talking about people changing between jobs much more frequently, in a world where you have to not only attract and retain talent, but then also develop that talent for strategic business objectives, right? There is kind of this zero-sum war for talent in a lot of ways that is unsustainable, and where that the influence of technology is only going to increase on your business, and you're going to have to learn how to dynamically acquire skills in data. And that goes everywhere from data literacy at the executive and board level to data science, data analytics, data engineering, all these things. These are ever changing and ever permanent parts of our lives now as business people. And it's incumbent upon us to, I think, really prioritize a lot of those shifts in the way that we learn, and the fact that we do as employers have to start taking more responsibility for upskilling and reskilling our workforce, not just because it's the right thing to do, because it's the good thing to do for business.